Okay, I'm recording now. Well, welcome to Coffee with Mildred. Thanks for joining us. I am doing this a little bit differently this time because I'm in a spot that doesn't have Wi-Fi, so hopefully it all works out. If you have never joined us before, Coffee with Mildred is, I started doing it because I wanted to be able to provide our history in a way that I grew up with it, of going around and you have coffee with people and hear wonderful stories and being able to share that with people. And it also has allowed people to listen to familiar stories that they grew up with. So connecting with people that aren't here anymore, that have moved away. And so that's why I'm doing it. That's what's up with Coffee with Mildred. This is part of the Cook County Historical Society. And today I am here with Margaret Carlson. And I really hope that this works because she's adorable and we'd love to hear her stories. So without further ado, I'm going to turn you around to Margaret here. Let's see. There we have Margaret. And then I think you're going to have to move over a little bit more if we want to get you in there. Okay. All right. So there are no real blinds there. It's just going to be what it is. We're here with Margaret and her son. Do you want to introduce yourself? Rudy. Mm-hmm. So, Margaret, what was it like? Where were you born?
I was born in Grand Portage and September 13th, 1933.
Oh, happy belated birthday.
Yeah.
And so what was it like growing up in Grand Portage?
Oh, goodness. I never was out of Grand Portage till I was 6 years old, 6 or 7. And then the lady that came up she was teaching all the Indian children the religion, she was teaching, and she came up because I bet she went all over the country doing that teaching.
Mm-hmm.
What they call it?
Like a missionary? Like a Catholic missionary, wasn't she?
A Catholic missionary,
Mm-hmm.
And then so she came there to Portage, and she met me, of course, and my brother, and my family. And my dad didn't want me to be raised in Grand Portage. And so he asked the lady who asked her if she would take me, which she did. And so I lived with her from the time I was 6 or 7 till I was 21.
Wow.
And then I did come up once in a while, every 4 years or so. And she taught all over different country or the states religion. And she took me with.
Oh, she did?
Yeah. So then I left there and they put me on the bus. And the lady that lived next door to my mom and dad, Hood, was their name, Robin Hood, made me the outfit to go on the bus. And I can remember they gave me a bag of orange slices, and I didn't have to share them with my brother.
Nice.
And so they put me in charge of the bus driver, and then we went to here in Grand Ray, and at the Sisters and Nun is where they left me, and then so I could get a bus to go, Greyhound bus. And then that's where I had my first ice cream too. The sisters got me ice cream cone.
Wow.
And then Anyway, I went all the way to Chicago. The bus driver was, taking care of me. And Florence, the lady who raised me, happened to was there in Chicago because uh, the priest was there that he sent her all over the country. And that's how I got. And then we went from there to Cincinnati, and that's where I lived for till I was, 7 years old till 21. And then I did get to come up every 4 years to visit my folks.
So, tell me, who else was who were your folks, and what siblings did you have?
It was just my brother Patty, and Louis was a little one then, and then me, of course. Uh-huh.
And who were your parents?
Eleanor Olson and Tom Olson.
Okay.
My my dad was born in Norway, so and he came to really he came to Canada, up through Canada, and then he met my mother's father, my grandpa, and then that's how all of it started.
So how did they end up in Grand Portage?
How
did they end up in Grand Portage?
I don't know. I sort of, but I did. There were 9 of us kids, so, but I didn't get to live with them too much, just one, which was nice, but that would have been nice.
Yeah. So who came after?
There was
Patty?
My Patty and Lou, and then I was next, and then Louie, Tommy, Ray. There was Laura, Carol, Wesley,
Lynn.
And Lynn.
And Lynn.
So were you the only one that was sent with a?
Yes.
Huh. And did they ever say why that was, or?
No, my dad just didn't want me to grow up for some reason in Portage.
Mm-hmm. And did
he just thought I'd have a better life, maybe, if I could get sick.
Mm-hmm. That must have been really hard for them.
Yes, it was hard for them and hard for me, and because I was away from my family all the time.
Mm-hmm. Did they stay in Grand Portage then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They stayed in Grand Portage always, but when I'd come up to visit, then that was really nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good memories of
then
all
I'd
that.
have to go back and start all over again.
Oh, jeez. So since you were there till you were 21, did you start doing some of the teaching then?
No.
No.
No. I just went along mostly with her,
Yeah.
But
so what happened after you were 21 then?
Well, I came to Portage then, and I was supposed to be on vacation, but then I never went back to Cincinnati,
Yeah.
And then, of course, then I met my husband and his 3 children.
Oh.
And I was mom to the children then, too.
Okay. And who is your husband?
Yeah, he died now.
Let's see if I can get a picture in here.
Yeah.
What was his name?
He died December 27th. And I've been a widow ever since.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Rudy.
Rudy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So same name as, I'm Rudy Jr.
Okay. But he was, didn't everybody call him Red?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we fished. He fished.
Mm-hmm.
We had that fish. We built, he and his friend built a fish house. and then the garage, and then that little white building that's down there was our store, which we sold fillets and smoked fish, and so we had a really nice business because we sold to the restaurants to the, people, a lot of customers that used to come out for smoked fish.
And what was that restaurant called? Or what was your store and fish house called?
With just Rudy's Fish.
Rudy's Fish?
Yeah.
Okay. Did, what was I going to ask? And that's down on the Crawford Loop here.
Yeah, that's right across the road. Mm-hmm.
And did you have any children with Red then? Just Rudy Jr.?
Yeah, I had the other kids. Mm-hmm. When Julie she's 5 years younger than Ruth. There, and first day I met her, she thought I was going to be her new mummy right away, and which I was.
Oh.
Very shortly thereafter.
You got that right, except she's 5 years older than me.
But right. I'm sorry, I'm
it's okay.
See, I was trying to figure out how that worked.
That's 5 years older, yes. Yeah. Believe me.
So what happened to their mother?
She left them.
Okay.
She left the children. Russ stayed a lot with his mom,
Mm-hmm.
But the girls were.
And the girls' names are Julie and what?
And Catherine.
And Catherine.
But I call her Toon.
Toon?
I called her, yeah.
Why did you call her Toon?
I don't know. That she.
I don't know either.
That stuck.
Yeah.
You know. That just. And I'm the only one who does that. I don't know.
Sweet. And have you always lived here on the Crawford Loop then?
Yes, I've always lived here.
Okay.
Yeah, when after he died, my brother-in-law or son-in-law came from Florida and taught me how to ride and drive a car.
Oh.
And because I didn't know how, but I did walk to work a lot of times after he died.
And where did you work?
At the hospital.
Oh, what did you do there?
So I worked at the hospital. Doreen Howell came and she said to me, Margaret, she said, are you going to sit there and feel sorry for yourself? I said, no. And she said, well, you got a job here at the hospital. And she left. And so a couple of days later, I thought, no, I'm going to go and do, work there. So I worked there from 48 until I was 65 at the hospital.
Okay.
Then afterwards, I cleaned houses.
Wow, you were a busy lady.
Yes.
And what did you do at the hospital?
I cooked.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but Grandma and my mother-in-law, she had the house that's up now, We had they had cabins, and so Grandma and I took care of the cabins when I first married Red.
And those are on Crawford Loop too?
Yeah,
it's right next door.
Oh,
this whole area they owned that whole area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there were 3 cabins, and now, of course, they're beautiful. They're all modernized and all beautiful now,
Yeah.
But when Grandma and we had to scrub those toilets with Hilux and all that, and wash clothes, all in an old pump type wash machine, gas, I think it was. So,
and who is Grandma?
That was my mother-in-law.
And what was her name?
Katrina. Yeah. So, and then she stayed with me here before she died. She was terribly sick. She had cancer.
Oh.
And, but she was just the best mother-in-law in the whole world.
You're a lucky lady.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the fishing. Did you go out and do fishing with?
My husband, no, that I didn't, but I did help smoke,
Okay.
but not because you know. So yeah, he sold fish. Oh my goodness, to all the fish companies too, which they would have sometimes salt fish, in the big barrels, so 300-pound barrels.
Plus, we supplied all of Fisherman's Picnic.
Yeah, all the fishermen's picnic we
That was
did.
our fish. So.
Wow. Did he fish by himself?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That was a busy guy.
He was.
Yeah, he just loved that. And Justine Kerfoot interviewed him several times. And anyway, she came down and on the, I think it was from the cities, wasn't it?
Channel 8 or something, some educational channel, I think.
To interview him. And that was when he was getting so sick in June.
Oh.
So, but anyway, she, the guy that was with her in the big truck with the, camera, he told my husband, now, don't look up at that camera. Just come in like you normally do. But of course, that didn't turn out like that. He came zipping up there, and yeah, so that was really something. I said, I think you gotta have a camera bigger than that. No, he said, we have this camera is the same for everybody. I said, yeah, but you don't know my husband. Oh, no, our store was really nice.
Yeah.
And we did a really good business as far as smoking, and it became quite famous. As a matter of fact, I gave Rudy a book on, and so I had everybody sign when they came in, which was really nice.
Oh.
Yeah, they're from all over.
All over the world, yeah.
Yeah, it's just amazing how many people knew about that little store.
And so what years did you have the store?
That was about 1975, I think.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Until when?
Yeah.
Until 81, when Dad
81,
died.
yeah,
Okay.
it's right before he was.
It was doing good right before he got sick.
Yeah. But, so our life was busy.
I would say so.
Yeah. But I did learn to drive. My son-in-law taught me how to drive, and then they came from Florida. And so that was really nice. So I didn't learn how to drive till I was almost 50.
Wow. And you can teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah, you didn't.
And she did real good, too.
Yeah. Oh, that was something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but other than that, that's...
So, how old were you when your dad passed away?
Oh boy, 81. That's a long time ago. I suppose I was like, well, let's see, 57, 24.
Okay. So all the kids were out of the house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
all
why
the kids are out of the house. Yep.
Yeah, that's why I had to walk too, because like I said, I didn't know how to drive then.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I'm very grateful I learned. And I'm grateful Doreen had said for me to start at, the hospital. I always worked there, though, even before when it was first built. I worked there also. That's what Christine Shupton, Hallie Conkleton were, also worked there. Percy
Mm-hmm.
and Nicholas and
So what was the hospital like then?
that was when the hospital was built in. Was right after the hospital was built.
Okay.
And then Clarence Thompson came out and got me. Then I also worked at
the clinic.
The
clinic.
No, down at the
Oh, yeah, veneer plant.
veneer plant.
There was a veneer plant here?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I worked twice. It burnt down. Oh, was that something? We had outdoor toilets, and it was a lot of people worked down there.
Where was that at?
It was
Let's see. You know where Falls River is?
Yeah.
Okay. Which used to be Rosebush. It's past there, and it's down on the lake side. I don't even know, but it's in that area. If you're driving along, you can look down there, and you see some new houses, and there's kind of a little cove in there. That's where the veneer plant used to be.
yeah.
Oh, who had that?
Irma Larson was my partner, so we take the sheets of veneer, put them in piles like that. That was really something. Then it burnt down, and boy, that was
Do you know who owned that, Ma?
Johnson.
Yeah, I think it was Johnson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Johnson,
Yeah.
somebody.
So that was really, oh goodness, Anna Speck, oh Molly Howard.
It was
There were
big,
so many of us that worked there,
big
and
employer.
Smitty Dwight was one of my bosses, and also who's that?
Lamson.
Huh?
Lamson.
Lamson, David
David
Lamson.
Mhm.
Was also. But that was, yeah, you have to go to the bathroom. That was outside. It was winter. Oh, it was cold. That was a lot.
Talk about how you got a job out there. What happened?
I had to have a job. I was so I just put him on the wagon and took him. That was about
Like a little red wagon?
Yeah, I wasn't drinking, and she had to put me on the wagon. I was just a little kid, but
I had many. That little red wagon got a lot of use.
So
I
you
always
just
because
walked out there?
wasn't even home half the time. He was fishing. In Montana, he fished. Up in Canada, down to Carlson. So I had that.
and he logged too.
And
Logged out in Montana too. Yeah.
all over. He logged all over.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did he get hooked up with logging out in Montana?
Well, wasn't it the fish prices were kind of bad or something?
Yeah, the fish, and they were supposed to really be doing good there. Ray would know, more about that because he went too. My Pia and my brother Louis.
Yeah.
Well,
And
she got the job at the veneer plant. I'll tell part of the story
okay.
because she drugged me all the way out there. It's like 3.5 miles to town,
Yeah.
and then the veneer plant was a couple more miles. And she went there and asked him,
Yeah.
"What did you say?"
They said, if you can walk that far and bring that kid with us, you got the job. That's how I went. So I did. I didn't. The money was good, and then we used that money for all of our nets and all that stuff. So it was busy.
Wow. There used to be in some of these interviews that I've done, there's a lot more walking that people did.
No kidding.
I mean, you
People
wouldn't
walked
even.
all the time.
Hey, Ma,
Yeah.
tell about the first time you took the car for a drive when you didn't have a license. Tell about that one.
That was head. Oh, fish. Anyway, the kids, they said, Mom, what, we gotta do something. Red was home, and so they said, why don't we go down and see Ted and Elsie? And that's when they lived down near Portage on the
lower road down there.
On the lower road
Yeah.
down there. So I, sure, piled the kids in the car, and I saw how Red drove, so I figured, no big deal. And then that little red house that's just down the road here, a cop lived. So we got down to Ted and Elsie's, and there was a real steep hill, and I was scared to go down there. And anyway, before I hit that, though, the cop picked me up. And then he said, where's your license? I didn't know you had to have the license and all that for driving a car. So we went down there, and one of the kids ran down to see Ted and Elsie, tell them to come back up and he will get me, which they did. So then I went to I had to go to court. Judge Creech
Oh, okay.
was he said to me, Margaret, he said, you can't do this stuff without license and stuff. Now you're gonna have to pay the charge. And anyway, he also married Red and I. He was such a wonderful, and he paid my court fee.
Nice.
The judge paid her fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
But then I had to take my,
Right.
so that was really something. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's adorable.
Yeah, well, he was such a wonderful person. When he sat, he looked fine, but but he couldn't get up, and he was bent from the waist when he had canes.
Really?
Mhm.
What did he have?
I don't know what it was.
don't know,
His
but
back was fused or something, but he walked in bent over all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But
he was a wonderful person.
Did he have a family?
Yeah, Barb, of course. Lee was his son.
Okay.
So now they're gone too.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
was he here when there was a wedding here one
Yeah.
time in the house?
yeah,
Who was that? Who got
that
married?
was Ray, or that was Bonnie and Noble.
Okay. Yeah, I can remember being a really young kid and seeing him
Yeah,
walking into the house, and we had a wedding in here. Tight wedding.
Yeah.
he was a wonderful person, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, just. But
Yeah,
I
that's
finally
pretty
did
sweet.
learn how to drive many years later.
Right.
But I was almost
Mhm.
50 when I got my driver's license, and I was really grateful then.
Yeah.
But if I worked the afternoon shift, which was really better for me, then the girls, whoever worked with me, took me home at night.
Oh,
And that
okay.
was at 8 o'clock then.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. How many shifts did they run out there? 2?
well, 11:30 usually the shift started, and then we were through it. So
How did it burn down? Do you know or remember?
the veneer plant, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think that was twice. And then I came home here, and I worked for at Rustic Inn also. Lucy, oh, it was her.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
What happened to the Rustic Inn, Ma?
I think that burned down too. I think it
Are we
Margaret,
starting to
I'm
see a
seeing-
pattern here?
I'm a little nervous. Gene Carlson started telling stories, and he loves to ice fish, and I was like, I've learned 2 things from these stories. 1, I'm never going with you, and 2, you should always have someone with you because he keeps falling through the ice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was always busy,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was fun to work at the veneer plant. So Irma Larson, like I say, she was my partner for catching the veneer.
And who was Irma Larson married to?
Lawrence, the
Lawrence.
Larsons that lived just down the road here. That was their mom. Those
Okay.
boys.
Huh.
She also did hair.
Oh.
She gave her. She was so cute. Have you ever watched Golden Girls?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so all 3 girls go get their hair permed. They came out all looking the same. It's more or less what Irma would do. Everybody looked
Had the same hairdo.
Had the same.
Well, at least she was good at it.
Mm-hmm.
She was
Very
such
consistent.
she was such a lovely lady.
Yeah.
So that's how all that went. And of course the cabin, everybody had cabins. Everybody fished.
Mm-hmm.
So it was busy.
Yeah, there were like 100 fishermen between here and Grand Portage at one point.
Just think.
Yeah.
I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And my dad's parents, where did they start? In Lutsen?
Yeah.
Lutsen, and then they moved in here. And my mom, her dad, ran the general store in Mineral Center, right?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think he had something to do with the general store in Mineral Center, because
But
that's,
he did work at school,
yeah.
you know.
It's amazing that there were so many of these little communities everywhere, you know, that were towns in and of themselves, and some of them, like Mineral Center,
And
there's nothing there.
Yeah.
my granddaughter got a lot of information for me. I was just going to see if I could, which was nice. I don't know where I have that. But about my dad. My mom,
Hmm.
she was February 20th, 1913.
That's when she was born?
Yeah. And and my dad was January 1st, 1880.
Holy.
Isn't that he was from Norway, so I had that.
Wow.
And how they met, I know so little of my family, but Ange, my granddaughter, got a letter, got a lot of information for me. So I'm kind of anxious to see.
Oh, that'll be really fun to see what
Yes,
from relatives in Norway.
right. And then now my uncle, which I can scarcely remember from the time I was little, but Rudy goes to visit him now when he could, but now he's what?
102.
102 years old.
He's in
the
Duluth.
oldest one in Grand Portage,
Yeah.
next to me probably.
What was his name?
Jeffrey?
Jeffrey Carlson?
No, Olson.
Olson.
Duhame, sorry.
Duhame.
She's right.
Yeah.
Duhame.
Okay.
Yep.
Just think of that. He doesn't know them every time, but he knew them.
I have to reintroduce myself every time, but he's, he doesn't have much of a memory, but he's lucid. You can talk to him and he recognizes what things are and so on. And he's another one that if you do an interview with or something, he can remember things from when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he might not remember what he ate for breakfast, but he can remember when he was 10 years old, there was a big snowstorm and they were sliding off the roof and things like that.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah, he's fun to talk to.
Yeah. And of course, my Uncle Raymond, he was extremely talented, making everything, a lot of beautiful Indian beadwork
Yeah.
And
he's had shows at the Cultural Center in Portage.
Right.
Yep.
Raymond,
beautiful
Yep.
woodwork, furniture, whatever.
Yeah.
So they all were.
Mm-hmm. So I see an organ in your living room.
No, I wish I could. I don't know how to play.
You don't?
No. Just one finger. So I was hoping to learn, but then it got so busy I didn't have time.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, now I just make my food now and stuff in the freezer, so I'd have that.
Well, you have, you could take lessons now.
Yeah. And then when they come up to visit me once a week, then I always make their dinner.
Oh, man, that's great.
Mm.
She'll tell me like a week ahead of time, how do you feel about chow mein? I'm like, I love chow mein. She goes, okay, I found a really good recipe, so we look forward for it the whole week. And then she's always got everything all ready for us, and I don't think we've had one that hasn't been really, really good. Every week she says, well, should I keep that recipe? And I'm like, Mom, you should keep them all. She's a really excellent cook.
Oh.
She's really
I
good
cooked a long time after, like I say, the hospital.
Yeah.
From 48 to 65, so.
And that was when you were 48 years old?
Yeah, that's after my husband died. I was
Yeah.
48. He
Okay.
was only 56 when he died.
Yeah.
Cancer.
We'll have to, I have yet to run into anybody in these interviews where they're like, my mom was the worst cook ever. I know they have to be out there, but it seems like people really knew how to cook.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And pass that on.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was, I had a very interesting life from the time I was born to,
You have. I've been wanting to get over here for ages just to chat with you.
As Dr. Hicks apparently delivered me. I was all my brothers except for Lynn. Now she was born in the ambulance going to Two Harbors, but I was the only one of the family that was actually born in the reservation in my mom's house, my mom and dad's house.
Really?
Otherwise, they were born in Cloquet, I think, or
Yeah. So, Dr. Hicks, did he cover like Graham Ray and Graham Portage? And
I imagine that would be 1933. So
yeah, probably a big area.
hmm But yeah, it was. I was so scared when I went to live with Florence, the lady who raised me. There were so many going upstairs and getting in a bathtub scared no daylight. And there are many things,
Yeah.
which
I suppose you didn't have a bathtub or.
Oh gosh, no.
Oh, cultural shock.
Yeah. I mean, did you even have power?
No. We can't kerosene lamp at Portage then. They were almost all shacks. They've done so many wonderful things for the people that live in Portage now. Look at all they've done for them.
Mm-hmm.
And what we lived in were just tar paper shacks and
Where was your place located? Do
it
you
was
remember?
on the lower road. There's a green
Garage.
garage that the Palmers lived in. The Palmers had this beautiful cabin just a little ways from where my mom and dad lived. And they also had this garage and that was green. It's still green. And that area is where I lived.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I mean, right on. The beach there is so sandy and very nice.
What was so odd about that when I first went to uh, Cincinnati there, of course, being Indian child, I got teased a lot. But I told the nuns, and she said, "Where do you live?" I said, "I live at the end of the world." And she said, "I don't think so." Yes, I said, "I live at the end of the world." When you go to Portage, you know where the road ends?
Mm-hmm.
There's no more houses there, and all you can see is lake.
Yeah.
And the road is ended, and
You thought that was the end of the world.
Yeah.
that was the end of the world. So I got quite a bit of heck for they told Florence I was. But that was, and I still feel like almost where Hendrickson's lived, and there's nothing, there was nothing there.
Yeah.
And the water, the Lake Superior, just.
Yeah. Went on forever. So you, did you know the Hendricksons then?
Oh, yes. Uh-huh. I didn't know my brothers and my sister that well. Of course, I wasn't raised with any of them. And then they were all gone by the time I came,
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I got when I had the kids.
Yeah.
Right up till they died, all three of them I was with. And
Yeah. You've had some great sadness in your life, but you've had some great joys too. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, it was Rusty liked me to make the fish cakes when he's up at the nursing home.
Yeah. So how do you make your fish cakes?
Well, then I bought them, from the batter, and I made the fish cakes at home. But I used to make, of course, my own, then.
Mm-hmm.
And when I could get the fresh fish.
Are you a potato fish cake person or not? Do you use potatoes in your fish cakes?
No, it was just you had a lot of grinding. I used to make it at the hospital too, which they really liked there.
I bet.
Yeah, made rye bread and raisin rye and stuff, but yeah, that was
How
busy.
come you haven't made me fish cakes in a while?
What?
You should put that on the menu for one of these trips
Oh,
here.
sure.
Fish cakes are excellent. Wow.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. But we were very, very busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's been gone a long time now, so I had to learn how to, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I guess, but I'm very lucky to have a wonderful family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, should we wrap it up?
That's it then.
Should we wrap it up for today? I
Yeah,
think that we're
would
gonna
be-
have to do it again now.
What?
I'm thinking there's more stories there.
Oh, there might be a few more in there.
Oh, Lordy.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon or this evening or whenever you get to watch this. Again, this is brought to you by the Cook County Historical Society. Please feel free to join us and help us by being a sustaining member. You can go to cookcountyhistory.org and click on the Join Us and become a member. Like and subscribe to this page as well so that you can be notified. Like this one, I had to pre-record so that you can be notified when I do upload a video if I do this again. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.